you ready? We're going live. Are you
Okay.
okay?
It's kind of freezing.
Okay. I'm about to share. Okay. So wait a Okay, we are live.
All
Can you hear me?
right. I can hear you. The screen is frozen, but I can hear you, and it's
Hi.
kind of lagging. Okay. Oh, it's frozen again.
Your best. I You're welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Hi, can you hear me properly?
Not really. No,
Can you hear me?
no. It's going in and out. Mhm. Let's see. Hi, everyone in the chat. I see Daniel's in here. Cordelia. Start. Hello. We're just waiting for her to come back. She's having some technical difficulties, but she should be back any moment now. Um, Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Um, okay, thank you. I was wondering. How was you guys' day? What did you guys do today? Oh, good. That's good to hear. It is 10 a.m. over here where I am at, so my day is just starting. Oh yeah, my it's Independence Day in my country too. So I'm not doing anything special, but I will go see some fireworks later on tonight. Hi. Hi. We're waiting for her to reconnect. We're having some technical difficulties, but she should be back shortly. So we're just hanging out in the chat. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, Hello, Rita. Okay. Okay, so I am Rayna Best. I am a wife, mother, and author of two very special books to me, and the reason why I am here today. So the book that you guys have seen, Miss Rita read on her YouTube channel, is called My Skin Has Shape. And so, just a little bit of background about me while we wait for the lovely host to get up on stage. I started off not really even thinking that I would become an author. Um, I had no idea that that was something that I was going to eventually get into. But my children inspired the stories that I write today. So I have three little girls, an 8-year old, a 4-year old, and a 3-year old. And so they all inspire me to write stories that we're going to talk about today.
Hi, can you hear me
Oh,
now?
yes.
Oh, finally. The network was so bad.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm so
glad you were able
excited
to
to
come back.
have you.
Yes. I'm here, happy to be here.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to my channel. Welcome to our channel.
Yes.
So,
Oh no,
the
it's
introduction,
freezing again.
please.
What was that? It's going in and out again.
You were introducing yourself.
Yes. So, just a little bit of background with me. I grew up with my mom.
Okay?
Yeah, I grew up with my mom, and during that time, she had an addiction, and so that led me to, well, forced me to move in with my father. And so from there on, I really started getting into writing and just expressing myself through journaling, and that created the love for poetry, which then turned into my love for writing short stories during middle grade and high school. And then once I got to high school, I kind of drifted away from writing up until 2 years from now. And that would be what, 10, maybe 12 years later, maybe 10. I'm thinking 10, 10 years later. And so now I decided to just write stories that will help children like myself and the things that I've gone through and things that I've experienced, as well as the children that I've worked with throughout the years, because I also used to be a daycare provider. So, yeah, so that's why I just decided to write to inspire other kids. And I think your screen is frozen again. Okay. No, it's freezing again. Yeah, it's frozen. Oh no. Yes, Fred, I do for now only write for children. I'm a little nervous about writing adult books. I I don't necessarily know if I'm ready for that just yet. So for now, yes. But in the future I could see myself writing adult books.
Okay?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Good. It's freezing, so I can hear you a little bit, but every now and then it freezes. Um.
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. 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 Why are you nervous? Is writing that hard? I think I just have a fear of
Can you
not
hear me?
being a little bit. Yes, a little bit. Um, because I read a lot of books, Fred, and so I don't know if I'll be good enough.
Okay.
I know that
Let
sounds
me
bad,
see.
but yeah, I know it'll probably turn out good if I did choose to write adult books. But I'm hard on myself. I'm like a tough critic on myself.
Right, so about my skin has colors. I want to ask you some questions
Oh
about
right,
has colors. Can you hear me?
a little bit, yes. It's still freezing.
Can you hear me? I want to ask you some questions about my skin has colors.
Mhm. I'm listening. Oh, it's freezing again. I'd like to read some of your books. Oh, that's sweet. They're on Amazon, and you can find them on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. If you just type in my name, Rayna Best, they should pop up. Or if even if you like Googled my name, they would most likely pop up. Okay. Um, it's fine. So I wrote My Skin Has Shapes for my daughter, my second daughter. Her name is Maya, and she has, it is like an adventure book. She has skin discoloration. So when I would take her to the doctors, they didn't really know why her skin had all these like different swirls and lighter patches on her skin. And so someone had made the comment, her doctor had made a comment saying that her skin reminded them of ice cream swirls. And so after I wrote my second book, I sat down, well, after I wrote my first book, I'm sorry, after I wrote my first book and I sat down to think about what I would write about for my second daughter, I remembered the comment that the
Can you
doctor
hear
made
me now?
about her.
When
Um,
I read My Skin Got Colors,
oh, it's freezing. Um, so where was I? Yeah, so the doctor, I
is it
remember the
still
comment that,
freezing?
yes, yes, yes. Um, so when I sat down to write my second book, the comment that the doctor made as far as like her skin has like swirls and it reminded them of ice cream scoops, I was like, oh, that would be a pretty cool idea for me to write a book for children with skin discoloration. And in the story, her skin discoloration would change different colors and different shapes. So that was where the idea sparked from. And I said, well, how would I make that come to life? And I said, the most imaginable place is in our minds and when we have our dreams. So I thought it would be a great concept to have her fall asleep and dream that her skin turns all these different shapes and colors. So throughout the story, you'll see that her shapes. Her skin turns into like triangles, ovals, squares, diamonds, and it also teaches kids about shapes, which is very, very cool. Um, yeah, so when I showed my daughter the book, she was super excited, and I didn't really think that she would know that the book was about her. But as soon as she saw it and I read it to her, and I said, because the little girl in the book, her name is Maya, and as soon as I said,
Why you
Maya, it's
wrote
time for
my
me to
skin
tuck
got
you in.
colors?
Yeah, so when I said Maya, it's time for me to tuck you in, she said, that's me. And so right instantly she knew that the book was about her, and she knew that the little girl in the story and the shapes that she had was a
I was actually.
representation of her own skin. Oh, it's just lagging. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's lagging. Um, so I might be hearing you a little bit late. Okay. Okay, so I'll ignore the voice. Yeah, it did. Well, she is only 4, so she doesn't really have an issue with her skin, because we don't bring it to her attention. We don't really make it seem like she's different from any other children. We just continue to love on her, and tell her positive self talk, like how beautiful she is and how smart she is, and just things that'll really compliment her, so she doesn't even have an issue with her skin. So I really not only wrote it for her, but I wrote it for other children who may have an issue with the way that their skin is. Try and let her know the new development anyhow you can. I think she doesn't have the idea of it. Just let her know you'll be using the comment. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I really just got back into reading this year, because just like you, Fred, I wasn't really into reading um, over the last maybe 8 years. And so I just started back reading a lot of novels and writing as well. So far, I've written 2 books. My first book is called Animated Like Me. And so this one, oh, the light, yep, Animated Like Me. And this one is about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. And so this little guy right here, he has ADHD, and he has a hard time focusing as well as making friends. And he has a hard time, learning new games. And so he gets really frustrated with himself. And eventually he meets Camille. And Camille also has ADHD, and together they help each other grow and learn and cope with having ADHD. And they also teach the other zebras in the book that even though they're a little bit different than them, that they're just like them in many other ways. And so the other zebras who didn't want to play with Cameron the zebra at first sees how much fun he's having with Camille, and then they too start playing with Cameron and Camille. And the ending is super cute because they just learn how to support each other. And I think that is so important to teach children at an early age, to learn to support each other and just be a friend to those who need it the most. Yeah. Yes, the books are on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. I write the ideas from my daughter's experiences. And before I became an author, I used to be a daycare provider. So I worked with children for about 8 years. And so I've worked with children with all different types of disabilities and different backgrounds and nationalities. And so thinking about them and their needs, as well as my own children, helped me to write the books that I write now. And so I'm actually going to be doing a follow up to Animated Like Me, and that book will be about anxiety. Yeah, I think you should write a book. I think we all have stories in us that we need to get out. And I think it's important for other children to see themselves in the authors and the books that they write. So I found my illustrator on Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr, Fiverr.com. And she's actually based in India. She goes by the name The Boro. I can't type it in the comments. But she's super sweet, and she's actually illustrated both of the books for Animated Like Me and My Skin Has Shape. And um, what I love about working with her is that she animated the books and she formatted the book. So that means she like put the words in the book for me, because when you are self-publishing, sometimes they don't always put the words in the book for you. Like they'll draw it for you and give you the pictures, but then you'll have to find a formatter to put the words in the book for you. So she does them both. So if you're interested in like working with an illustrator, I highly recommend her. And her name is The Boro, the Theboral, The Boro. And that's on Fiverr.com. Thank you, Sophia. Yes, yes. And she did this cover too. My Skin Has Shape. And me and her just worked together. Like I would send her ideas about how I wanted the character to look, and how I wanted the pages to transition from one to the next. Yeah, sometimes, but I feel like when I write children's books, I'm more comfortable. Like I was telling Fred earlier, I don't know if I would eventually write an adult book because I'm a little bit nervous because um, adults are like harder to please. So, but with children, they're tough critics too. But because I used to write poetry as a child, it's easier for me to write out my thoughts and make it rhyme and make it enjoyable for children. But with adults, they make me nervous. Oh, for Fiverr, it's Fiverr, and her name, the illustrator's name is the Boro, Thebor, and I'll send. Yes, adults, adults, they will tell you your writing sucks. They will tell you they hate you. I'm like, they make me so nervous. So I'm like, I don't know if I am ready for that just yet. But I did start writing so kind of like a self-help book for single moms. Thank you, Boomy. Dr. Boomy, sorry. Um Yes. So there, if you go on Fiverr, there are some artists on there who do strictly do coloring books. They do a lot of things. You can, if you just go to the website, they do like word search puzzles. If you want to create your own word search or like your own commercial or your own little advertisement, they do a bunch of stuff like flyers and stuff. So I definitely think yeah, I definitely think you guys should check it out if you're interested in getting your own like um, illustrations done and other things because it's more than just like for illustrators. They do like a lot of different stuff. Mhm. Yes, Cyrus. Yeah, I had a word search done for my to kind of promote my skin has shapes and that experience was really good. I just gave them, you just give them the words and they'll create them for you. It was really simple. Thank you, Fred. No, I didn't need an editor. I fortunately I was really good at English in high school. So I was really good at writing and punctuation, so that helped a lot during my writing process. Um, but I would recommend an editor if you're writing like novels and stuff because sometimes you miss like words. Like sometimes when I write too fast and I think of a word in my mind and I don't write it out, and later I go back and I'm like, I completely missed this word. So I do recommend you get an editor. But for me, I just read over what I write hundreds of times and I read it to like my husband and my friends and make sure that it sounds good when I read it. And then I let other people that I trust read it and they'll let me know if something needs to be changed. Yes, Teacher Higgins. We were talking about that earlier when I was saying that my daughter Maya influenced me to write the story about skin discoloration and self love. Do you go to school to promote your books? I'm wondering how you get a lot of children to get to see your books. So I haven't been to any schools yet. I did send Animated Like Me to my daughter's teacher, and she read it for her class. But because of COVID and COVID being really bad in the U.S., a lot of schools aren't letting adults on campus. So I reached out to a school district in my area and tried to partner with them over the summer to see if I can do like a reading session for their kids. And they said they would contact me back, but they still haven't. And then I've also tried to partner with Barnes and Noble to like do a story time reading in an actual store, but I haven't had any luck with that. COVID has really put a halt to like any type of in-person connection and promotion. Mm. Um, no, I wasn't worried, Dr. Boomy, about my work being stolen. I copyrighted both stories before I sent them out, and the a lot of the illustrators on there are very trustworthy, and I'm sure they don't want to go through the hassle of being sued or anything like that because once you write something down on paper, if you email it to yourself, that's kind of like what they call like a poor man's copyright. And if you were to go to any judge and show them like the date that you sent that email to yourself of your story versus whenever that illustrator who stole your story put it out, you would most likely win the case because they see that you wrote it first. But I just went ahead and copywritten all my stories, so I didn't have to really worry about that. Thanks, Fred. I have tried libraries, Sophia. With the libraries, they want you to donate your books. So the libraries in my area, they told me that I could donate my books, but they also said that there was a possibility that they wouldn't even put the books out. So I guess like a lot of authors in the area, they get a lot of books from them, so they pick through them and decide which books they want to keep and which ones they want to put on the shelf. And then the funny thing about that is that they told me like, oh, if you send us your book, you won't get it back. There is no probably, you won't get it back. And so I had to decide like if I really even wanted to send my book, and because I didn't want to send them my book and then they don't put it in the library and then they just keep it to do whatever with it. So I was just like, well, maybe I need to find a different route. And yes, Rita, I did self-publish. So I went through the publishing company Ingram Spark, and it wasn't hard. Like I said, working with the borough, she made it very easy for me to get the PDF file and send it over to Ingram. So as soon as we got all the sizing right and the dimensions right, I was able to easily send it to Ingram Spark, the publishing company. That's their website too, Ingram Spark. And I'll type it in the private chat, and then Rita can put it in the regular chat because I'm not able to comment. Um, I'm not able to comment over there. But yeah, so once you send it to Ingram, they do the rest. They like bind the book together for you and everything. You just have to like pay for your own books if you want to sell them yourself. But like the good thing with working with Ingram Spark is that they place your books on Walmart.com, BarnesandNobles.com, and Amazon.com for you. So you don't have to do it, they do it for you. And then there's some other websites too that they partner with and place your book on there. So it's a really great site. And could you express the difference in writing a book for 3 to 10 years old and a book for 11? Yeah, so Miss Higgins, the teacher at Higgins, the difference is the difficulty in words that you write. So like a 3-year-old at the time, they're learning about like colors, and they're learning about shapes, and they're learning about differences as far as like big and small and things around them, and they're learning about manners and things like that. Whereas someone who is 10, they already know that by now, so they're not interested. They're not really interested in my skin has shapes because they already know their shapes and colors. I mean, they might read it just because it's not really about shapes and colors, it's about skin discoloration. So, but most likely they want to read stuff that they're interested in, like I don't know, dragons, pirates, stuff that a 10-year-old would like. And 11, he said 11 through 15, those are the years where like you're more interested in like your first crush or like sports or school drama. So those books do really well for the older groups, whereas younger kids, they really just want to use their imagination to talk about, you know, kid stuff, like like stuff that a 5-year-old would want to, talk about. Yes, that's Ingram Spark. So it's just Spark with no S at the end. So for proofreading, I just read over it a lot of times, and I had my husband read over it, and they're completely honest with me, and they will let me know if they don't really like something or if something's not very interesting. But I haven't had them tell me that yet, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I just read over a lot of different times, and to get people to read my books, I joined a lot of Facebook groups. So they have Facebook groups for all different types of things. So, like, say if you're interested in knitting, they have knitting groups. If you're interested in soccer, they have soccer groups. So I joined like maybe 50 different author groups and children books groups and books dedicated to writing. And so once my book was out there, I was able to go into those groups and post my book cover and the synopsis of what the book is about. And a lot of people, especially when you join like groups that support um, African people and African American people and Black people, when you go into those groups, they're more than likely willing to support you because they know that and Nigerian people, they have Nigerian author groups as well. And when you go into those groups, they're more likely to support you because it's kind of like a family. And so they want to see you win, and a lot of people buy your books. And so it's really a really, really good idea. And for publishing, how do you person cover? So they have a website called Copyright. If you Google copyright, the website copyright. If you Google copyright website, the website will pop up, and then you'll go in and you just you send in the manuscript. So you're writing, and you pay a fee, and then your work, they will copyright your work and send you a receipt and kind of like a letter to let you know that your work is copywritten. No, I don't know if you know what? I don't know if my book is on Goodreads. It might be. That's a good question. I'm actually on Goodreads, but I've never thought to look up my own books. I think I might be though. So for animated like me, I think I might have sold about 300 or 350 copies. The only thing I don't like about Ingram Spark is that they don't give you a full total. They'll tell you month to month how much you've sold, which is frustrating because you have to calculate in your mind, okay, last month I sold 50, this month I sold 20, 70 books. So they're not really telling you in total how many books you sold in a whole, which can be annoying. The So the book that I'm working on now is the follow up to Animated Like Me. And so you know how this book is about Cameron. The next book will be more about Camille, but he'll be in it too, but it'll be more focused on her. And the story is going to be about anxiety and just how she is dealing with it, and you know, just how she can work through it basically. And so I'm working with the illustrator that I told you guys about earlier. I'm working with her now to get that out hopefully by the beginning of next year. Like how much did you use to publish? Not take as much as how much. Wow, that's a lot. 5,000 is a lot. I'm not sure if yeah, that's a lot because I know the currency might be different for the U.S. Um, versus Nigeria. But um, I had to pay. I think um, the most expensive part for me is paying the illustrator. I think I spent maybe 1,600 or 12 to 1,600 dollars with the illustrator, and then for Ingram Spark, it's like a $50 fee, and then to copyright, I think it's like $35. So the Ingram Spark and self publishing stuff is not as expensive. It's really just about paying your illustrator. But if you're writing novels, then it shouldn't be that expensive if you just go through self publishing. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. So, um, yeah. So I think 5,000 is a lot. That's a lot. And you said you paid your illustrator or you paid your publishing company 5,000. Yes, because with Ingram it's like a $50 fee. Are you connected to your characters and you feel the emotions about them? As I'm writing them and I'm reading the story, I do feel the connection to the characters because some parts of the story can be very sad, and so like I feel that emotion and I feel that sadness and with them. Um, so like for example, like so it says he was often impatient and did not like waiting his turn, and when it came to new games, it was hard for him to learn. He could not help it no matter how hard he tried, and on these specific days, he would just sit and cry, cry, cry. No one likes me, he would angrily say. I can't be the only one who feels this way. And so when you look at the picture, you see him that he's crying and he's sad, and you see all the kids and the zebras in the back playing. It's really it's sad, it's sad because you can feel his emotion because he really wants to be accepted. And you see Camille, she's in the back, she noticed his sadness. And so I do kind of feel a connection to the characters. Like, oh, he's sad. He wants friends. Um, okay? So you said I am a Christian book author. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, 5,000 is a lot. Um, Please send me the name of the company you use. Yes. So the company, I think someone wrote it in the chat a little bit earlier, but it's called Ingram Spark. And yeah, you can publish on Amazon as well. And there's a bunch of different publishing companies that you can go through. Um, and I have all this information saved. So if you guys wanted to message me like on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you guys are on social media, I can see you all the information for the websites and the cost and all that good stuff. I can just send it straight over to you if you guys wanted to do that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, oh, my Instagram, I can't even. Oh, thank you, Rita. So I started writing when I was a kid. Um, but so I started writing poetry when I was young. And then once I moved in with my father, I continued to write poetry more, but then I started writing short stories, and then I would put the kids at my school in my stories. And so they would ask me to write stories and use their names. But once I got into high school, I stopped writing, and I didn't really have an interest in writing up until 2018. And that's when I started writing my children's books. Yeah, I love poetry too. So my Facebook and Instagram is RB Scribes. I wish I could I wish I could type, but it's RBSCRIBES. That's RB Scribes. I for the so you said, do you write your ideas on rough draft before you putting them together, or do you write the whole book straight up? So for these two books, I just sat down and wrote them in one sitting, and then once I read through it, sometimes I would add stuff or change words. And then for my next book, I wrote it little by little. And so I would start with a sentence and try to think of another one. If I couldn't, I would come back to it. And so for this next one that's coming out, I've just been kind of, well, it's done now, but I did change a sentence or two a couple weeks ago. So I just write as I go. Yes, please support Mario. She is such a beautiful spirit, beautiful person. I love her smile, and we actually connected through a Facebook group. One of the Facebook groups I was telling you guys about earlier. Yeah, so the next book would is gonna be the sequel to Animated Like Me. So it's gonna be Animated Like Me and Camille and Her Worrisome Worries. So this is just a follow up book. And I'm not sure if I want to continue on with the series or just leave it at two books. So, but we'll see. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that too. And so I've started writing a middle grade book for ages 10 through 13. And that's going to be like a novel for kids. So, so I started doing that. And so I'm also doing that little by little. And I'm thinking that might be a series, kind of like the Junie B. Jones books or the Amelia Bedelia, Harry Potter, like little books like that. But I don't know yet. Oh, thank you, Sophia. I hope she loves them. Yeah, so oh, maybe I can show you guys. Have you thought about turning your books into a TV show like children cartoon stuff? Yeah, I actually have. Like I want merchandise, like I want plush zebra stuffed animals. Like I want to do that, but that's expensive. I looked into that and I was like, I cannot afford it. So I looked into doing like plush stuffed animals with the characters, but they wanted thousands of dollars, you guys. I'm like, I can't do that. And then I want a TV show. I was even thinking like maybe even a movie. That would be kind of good because I feel like children need to see characters that are, like them or going through the same thing that they're going through. So I really, really do want to do a TV show, but I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to get into that field. So the books for like animated like me, they're suitable for 5 and up. But I've had younger readers whose parents have bought them this book and they enjoy it. Like my friend, her son is 3 and he loves this book. So yes, this is my first book. Thank you. um yeah, so this is my first book and then this one is my second book. And then the third book would be like a sequel for this book, but it will be more focused on her as the main character. I haven't. That's actually I haven't signed any book deals. That's actually why I went the self-publishing route because I sent my first book out to a lot of different agents and a lot of different major publication companies, and I either got no response or I got no's. And so I just decided to self-publish, and instead of waiting for someone to eventually, find my work good enough, um, so, and for the second book, I sent the second book out to a few agents, but I didn't push as hard as I did for the first book because I kind of already knew how to self-publish. So I wasn't really afraid to go that route. And then for this third book, I think I'm going to self-publish one more time just because the first one is self-published. But for the other ones I plan to do in the future, I'm hoping I can get um, a book deal so I don't have to spend my own money. But you can find these books on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and even other websites. And then you can all, if you Google my name, um, Rayna Best, they will pop up through Google. Thank you. Yeah, so self-publishing, you have to spend your own money basically, and so you spend you spend your own money as far as finding like the illustrator, the formatter, the editor, and then you spend your own money as far as marketing the book and creating ads and promoting the book. So you do all of that yourself. If you have a major self-publishing company behind you, they'll, you know, find the illustrator for you. They'll, bind the book for you. They'll promote it. They'll put out ads. They'll set up interviews for you to do. And it's just a lot easier. But the only downside to major signing with a major publication deal is that you have to split the profits with them. So they do take a very significant amount of your currency. So like your money, Whereas self publishing, whatever you sell, you get back for yourself. But I mean, like the self publishing companies, they do take a little bit from your book sales, and then Amazon also takes a little bit from your book sales as well. But with the major publication companies, they take out a lot of percentage that you earn through book sales, but they also push you a little bit more and you have more exposure to a bigger audience. So it's like um, you're making more money regardless, unless you just, you know, are very good at self marketing and promoting. What do you think is the future of paperback books, especially with digital audiobooks taking over? Do you plan to convert your books to digital audiobooks? I do want to do that. I think that paper book I love paperback books. Um, I think they'll still be around because, other people love them and enjoy them as well. But I noticed that in libraries, they don't really like paperback books too much because they want to be able to sanitize the books now and make sure that they're clean, the cover's clean and everything. You can't really do that without destroying a paperback book. So I think they'll be around, but they'll be harder to come by in like stores and especially used bookstores. Thank you. Yes, ebooks are taking over. The only reason why I haven't done like ebooks with these books is that you do have to pay for two ISBN numbers. So if you look on the back of the book, you see like this number, this long digit number right here. I would have to pay for ISBN for this one, and I'd have to pay for the ISBN number for the ebook too. And so that's just like kind of like more money. But I mean, yeah, it's not that bad. Eventually, I'll get there. I do want to do audiobooks though, in digital as well. Mhm. If you want to get started, that's the minimum pages you should be looking at for a beginner. Um, it depends on what type of books you plan on writing as far as page numbers. They say like the average page number for a chapter book for say a 7-year old or 13-year old is like 6,000 words. Which is to me 6,000 to 8, which is like a lot to me. For a children's book, I know they say it's like around 30 pages. And I know they do have like books that are shorter than that, like which is fine. Um, but yeah, on Amazon they don't pay for icing. You might want to consider that you pay for commission. Yeah, so on Amazon they do. You can get your ISBN through Amazon. However, they kind of own your book after that. You can't really, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, it's it's kind of like they have a part ownership of the book once you use their ISBN. So you wouldn't be able to take it to like a Barnes and Nobles and have or any other bookstore and have your book placed in their store because your ISBN is from Amazon. Whereas if you bought your own ISBN number, you could pretty much shop your book anywhere. Yeah, yeah. Adult books, I don't know. I plan on doing one. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, they do have shorter books. My children have a bunch of short books, so I really feel like it just depends on who you're publishing with because I know with Ingram Spark and other publishing companies like Lulu and things like that, you have to have a certain number of pages for them. So if you wanted to do like a baby book that's like cardboard, you probably have to go through like a big publication company. Um, Thank you, Fred. ISBN numbers are, it depends because if you can buy them one by one or you can buy them in bulk. So for one, I think it was like um 120 or something like that. Let me look it up. So yeah, so you can buy one for 125, or you can buy 10 ISBN numbers for 295. So I bought 10 of them so for my future books, but you can buy them one by one. That's nice. The word count, that's a good question. I don't even know. I was more so focused not the word count, but the page number. So they're more focused on how many pages you have. So I know when I first um started creating or having my illustrator create the book, I knew I needed 30 pages. So I stretched it out. So if you see like some pages have like one one word, like this one. So you see how it has like one sentence, is because I needed to stretch it out to get to 30 page mark. But like on this book, you see like it has a few on this page. It has like a few. So it just depends on who you go with to publish. Yeah, it just depends. But I don't know the word count. But I do know it's 30 pages. But it's a quick read. If you guys are subscribed to Mario Rita's YouTube, you would see the video that she where she read the book for you guys. I would love to collaborate with another author. I just actually read a book, a YA novel, where it's called Blackout. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it has like six different YA authors. And I thought that was so cool because I've never read a book with like six different authors telling interlinked stories. So I think that's a good idea. I would do that. Yeah, I think covers sell books. So I think if you don't have a good cover, it's going to be harder to sell your book. The story could be great, but if the cover isn't captivating, then it's going to be harder to sell the book or even get people to want to read it. That's a good question. Um, so for my writing, yeah, my writing, what inspired my writing are my children and the children that I've worked with in the past. Now, no, I actually don't know what that is. I think I've heard of Nano before, but I've never participated in Nano. Good question though. Now I have to look it up and see what it is. No, I have seen that before, and I haven't. So now I have to like put that in my phone. So I'm like, no, I should come back to it and look into it. Thanks for telling me that because I wouldn't have known. So, my daughters inspired me to write. My oldest daughter, she inspired the book Animated Like Me. She doesn't have ADHD, but when she did go to daycare, she struggled with inclusion. So a lot of times, she would play by herself, or she would have a hard time making friends because she's very different. She had a very different personality from the other kids, and then also she had a speech impediment, which made it harder for her to communicate clearly to other kids, and kind of threw off her comprehension as far as, sarcasm and jokes that kids would sometimes make. She didn't really know that it was a joke, and she kind of took it as offense. She's doing a lot better now, though. She's 8 now, whereas then she was 4, 5. Um, but she's doing a lot better. So she inspired Animated Like Me, which is about ADHD and inclusion. And then my second daughter, she inspired the My Skin Has Shaped book, because she does have the swirly patterns on her skin and her back and her legs. And so I just wrote that for her and other kids who have skin discoloration um, issues, pigmentation issues. The Writers of Color event. Oh, I see. I've never heard. So I'm glad that you guys brought that up, because I've never heard of the Writers of Color event. I'll look into that. I would tell them to just keep writing and do what you love and write about what you know. And, if you really believe in your story, if you really believe in, what you've written, if you know that it will be inspiring and empowering, then do the very best you can to get that story out, because I feel like books are important. And, what you might write something that kids find amazing, and but they might look at my books and not even connect with my books. So I feel like there are audiences out there for everyone. And I think that, we all have stories inside of us. I am a little thirsty. Thank you, Fred. Um, but yeah, I really think that we all have stories inside of us to to write, and we just have to actually not be afraid. And that's funny that I say that, because I'm scared to write adult books, but but I think if we like set aside that fear and just really like focus on getting writing it out, regardless of how we personally feel, because I feel like we're our own, tough critics. But if we just like, you know write that story, it will inspire, or it will inspire someone, or even entertain someone, because some books are not meant to inspire but just to entertain, and that's good too. Fred's funny. You just have to believe in what you want to write about. You think of many different ideas, and also, when you read other books by like your favorite authors, or your favorite genre that you read, it will spark other ideas in you, and it'll help you as a writer. Because when I started writing the little chapter books that I'm working on now, there were some different details that I didn't put in there, but like now that I'm reading more books, I'm like, oh, this is how they would describe someone walking in the park, or this is how they would describe someone eating a meal. So you would just see like all the different, ways that authors would use to describe different things. And so reading really helps you expand your writing and like your process. Yeah. Idea development. Um, for me, I like to write about things that I am passionate about, or things that interest me, or things that so like um or things that you're familiar with. So if you were to or history that you're familiar with, I think those books are good. Just sitting down brainstorming about like, what do you want your characters to look like, sound like, what would you want them to do, who would be like the protagonist, antagonist, thing, what's the plot. Really sit down and think about, how you want the story to flow, what's going to happen in the book. You don't necessarily have to write the book, but if you just write out what you want the story to be about, who's the bad guy in the story, what's the plot, how do you want the story to end, what do you want to happen in the story, that will help you. That'll help you a lot as far as like your process and writing. Oh, I don't know if she was being I don't know if she was being mean. I think she might have been laughing at. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why she was laughing. I don't know. But I don't think you should worry about that. I think you should, focus on um focus on what you love. Focus on what you want to write about. Yeah, I noticed that there's two Freds. I'm like, wait, I thought she was laughing at the other Fred. Um, well, why do you feel like it's not good enough? Are you in? Why did you write it? Be did you write it to, for other people to enjoy, or did you write it to make money? Consider like you have to consider like why we do the things we do. Because with my skin has shapes. I didn't like how it came out print wise. But then I had a friend tell me like, well, did you write it for that reason, or did you write it to inspire other children with skin discoloration? And so that made me think. She's like, well, I'm sure they're not worried about the little nuances that you're worried about, you know. But I do feel like you should put like your best work forward. If you feel like you could do better, if you then do better. But if maybe you just feel like you're a harder critic on yourself, so maybe Daniel, you could have someone else read over it and give you a critique on what they think. Um, so, an author inboxed me today asking me to describe a certain skin feature in my own way. So that got me wondering if that's how writers gather their words development. Yeah. So instead of you saying like, oh, her skin was brown and she wore a brown and dark brown headband, you would say, oh, was her skin was the color of an almond toasted in the sun as she wore her mahogany headband as the curls flowed from her face. So you would be more descriptive instead of um, telling, you would describe. From what people think is so funny. Um, no, I feel like if you start gathering ideas from people, you're gonna get away from what you are really interested in and what you really want your story to be about. So you can write it out and you can ask for opinions about what they think about the story. Someone that will be honest. But I feel like if you start getting ideas from the ones around you, it won't be your story anymore. It'll be someone else's story in your words. Yeah, metaphors, mm-hmm. And similes, and things like that. Mm-hmm. uh, sing. I am not a singer. I I am not a singer, you guys. That is not my field. That is not my calling. Jesus did not place that in my heart. I know my lane, and singing is not one of them. I know, like they're putting some pressure on me. I can probably write you guys a song, sing it. I don't, I don't know. Um, any rhyme? Ooh, Rita, who is hot in here now? Okay, I don't know about this. um, but I can't sing, Fred. I cannot. I can't. It's not gonna sound. I can do it, but it's not gonna sound good. It's not. I'm trying to. It's not. I do not have a good singing voice. What friend? Yeah, a friend sent you a link and told me stuff about you. About me? Hope it was good stuff. Um. Okay. I don't know. Okay, I can show you guys a new illustration from for my next book. Is that a good trade? I hope so, because I if you believe it, you can. No, it don't work like that. It don't when it comes to singing, it does not work like that. Because I can't sing. I can't. Itsy bitsy spider, maybe. I don't know. I just now I'm nervous. I wasn't nervous before. Now I'm nervous. I can't sing. Whew. I blame you, Rita. It's all your fault. Jesus. Whew. Okay. I don't know. Now I'm nervous. I'm not trying to bribe you guys. I'm just trying to let you guys know I can't sing. I can't. I would much rather show you guys an illustration. I just can't sing. I really can't. I don't even know what to do now. Jesus. No, I'm nervous. Thank you. I thank you. I'll take tone deaf. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, but yeah, definitely, you guys. You can connect with me on if you guys are on TikTok, if you guys are on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you guys are. I'm pretty sure I have a username for it. They can't sing. You can definitely find me over there, and I would love to keep in touch with you guys and talk to you guys over there. That was funny. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Um, but yeah, Rita, this is all your fault, girl. um, so yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being so nice and welcoming. Yeah. I don't know if you can put like my contact information in the chat box for me. I wish I could comment. uh If you go to like the private chat, Rita, I put my Instagram over there. Thank you guys. You guys are nice. um, yeah, so RB Scribes, RBSCRIBES is my Instagram and my Facebook and my Twitter. And my TikTok is the book babe. So the book babe with two E's at the end of babe, BABEE is my TikTok. Thank you I'll follow you guys back. Thank you so much. And since I didn't sing, I will show you guys. Let me block this. So this is an illustration. I don't know if you guys can see it though. From my new book. It's coming out next year. And it's about anxiety. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly. Yes, thank you. This was fun. You guys are funny. Yes, Amazon. Yes, thank you, Rita. Thank you. Make sure you guys support Rita. She's so sweet and she's been so kind and welcoming. I really appreciate her sharing her platform with me because it was fun. And I just really appreciate you, Rita. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Any final words? Any final questions? Yeah, this was fun. This was very fun. This is my first live stream show like this. So this is definitely fun. And if you guys, I know a lot of you guys want to, write your own books. Like I said, my DMs are open to any questions you guys have. Don't be scared to ask. Don't be afraid that I'm not going to respond because I will respond with information, that you need or questions or whatever. Yes. Thank you. Yes. All right. Make sure you guys support Rita, and I really appreciate you, Rita. Thank you.